24th meeting of the Ann Arbor Independent Community Police Oversight Commission to order. I'm going to ask Ms. Cummins to please call the roll.
Councilmember Song? Here. Commissioner Othman? Commissioner Billups? Chair Carter?
Here.
Commissioner Milgram?
Here.
Commissioner Pipkins? Councilmember Harrison? Commissioner Maribom? Commissioner Green?
Here.
Commissioner Haynes?
Here.
Commissioner Elkin?
Here.
Commissioner Francis?
Here.
Okay, we have quorum.
Thank you.
Commissioners, when you do speak, just a reminder, please speak into the mic.
Did you do the other resolution? Am I just?
Yep, I have it right here.
We have a separate.
Yep.
Okay. Would everyone take a minute and look at the agenda? And then I'm going to ask for one of the commissioners to make a motion to approve the agenda. Anyone?
Has the agenda been changed since the last time it went out? Or is it the same?
It's the same.
It's the same.
Okay. I move to approve the agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. And you have, I think, in front of you the minutes from the last meeting, which was our public forum. September 27th. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
This is Commissioner Haynes. I so move to approve the minutes.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the agenda is, the minutes are approved. Now is the time for public comment. Do we have anyone who is on the phone?
We have no one on the phone for public comment. Do we have anyone here for public comment? No one here for public comment?
Very good, thank you. We're going to move on. So, report from the chair. The first thing I want to do is welcome our new commissioner. We were going to have a full complement of commissioners today for everyone to meet. Commissioner Eliakin, I knew that. This is your first meeting. Yes. You were out last time. We are so happy to have you with us. You want to take just a minute and introduce yourself? Tell us about yourself.
Very good. My name is Neil Eliakin. I live here in Ann Arbor. I've lived here since 1984. I have two children, both products of the Ann Arbor public school system. I am a retired special education administrator who I worked for the Washtenaw Intermediate School District for 35 years. I am a former member of the Human Rights Commission here in Ann Arbor and am happily retired and looking forward to working with the commission and the community.
Good, thank you. We certainly look forward to having you work with us. And then we have our new commissioner, Commissioner Jess Francis, I knew that, who was just approved by council a week or so ago. And we welcome you, Commissioner Francis. Can you give us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thank you for having me, and I'm very excited to be here. My name's Jess Francis. I work at the Institute for Social Research as a researcher, and I moved to Ann Arbor in 2020, January of 2020, so quite the time to make a change. In the time that I lived in Ann Arbor, I had the great fortune of having amazing friend and next-door neighbor, and Jude Walton, who served on this committee and helped establish a lot of great things in our community. She had told me at one point, if you want to get involved in the city, you should join this commission and do some good. And so that's why I'm here. I look forward to working with you all and furthering the work that she started. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and we understand that Commissioner Walton was instrumental in your interest in ICPOC, and we appreciate that. And we also understand that you write grants.
I do.
And so we're looking forward to that skill. Thank you so much. And I know that Commissioner Hoffman indicated that he was ill. He will not be here, so we, of course, wish him well. And Commissioner Green was not able to join us last time. This is your first meeting.
Yes.
Thank you. It's so good to have you. Would you introduce yourself to us, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm Roderick Green. I'm an attorney. I pastor the New Hope Baptist Church in Ann Arbor. I'm a former assistant prosecuting attorney for Washington County. I've also done defense work for 40 years, but I'm not that old. But I appreciate the opportunity to work on this important committee.
Thank you so much. We
Thank
are
you.
so glad to have you. I know Commissioner Green is going to be, has, I think, agreed to work on the policy committee. And I know Commissioner Milgram's happy to hear that. And Commissioner Eliakim, I think, is going to be working on the training subcommittee. And I think Commissioner Francis is going to be working on the outreach. Very good. We appreciate, very much appreciate having a full complement of commissioners. Again, we're at 10. We are still looking for a youth member. So if there's anyone who knows a college student or even a really good high school senior, that's a one-year term, and we very much would appreciate having that member to round out our commission. Okay, so a couple of things that I want to talk about this evening. First of all, I met with, as a matter of fact, Commissioner Milgram and I met with the incoming interim chief last week. First of all, I went to the reception for the outgoing interim chief, and we met with the incoming interim chief. And I was informed by the city administrator that there's going to be, last time they had the search, so many of us I was out of town, several of us were out of town, it was the middle of the summer. They do want ICPOC to have a panel to present our questions to the candidates. And we can have a panel of our own. There'll be several panels. And right now, the dates that I've been given are November 30th and December 1st. Either or, I'm not sure that they have settled on a date. So hopefully, is anybody now who would like to serve on that panel? Yeah, Commissioner
Well, I
Green?
served on one previously, and I've come familiar with it, so I wouldn't
Excellent.
mind serving again.
Excellent. And Commissioner Eliakim and Commissioner, I just want to call you Jess. I am really sorry. You can call me Jess. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So, mark your, kind of put a hold on those two dates, and I'll let you know for sure when the date is decided. And even if you cannot attend, if you would come up with your questions. We need to have a whole set of questions that we'll be asking as a panel, and I asked if we had to have our questions cleared through the city attorney's office, and I was told, well, it would be a good idea. Not that they are trying to monitor our questions, but if there are some things that might possibly run afoul of things we can't ask, we want to make sure that we clear that.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
pardon my ignorance, but has the new chief been selected already?
No.
Okay.
No, they're starting, as I understand it, fresh. There were several candidates last time, and none of them were selected.
Okay.
So they're starting new.
fresh.
They're starting fresh. I think they have, I understand they have 4 candidates.
Okay.
I don't know if any are internal or not.
So I have a question. So are we asking these questions of each one of these candidates?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. They'll be the same set of
question.
questions we'll ask
For
to each one.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so again, put that on your calendar, and I'll let you know for sure which of those 2 dates is selected. Again, we have committees now, and I know Ms. Cummings has been in touch with pretty much everybody to try and set up dates, times. I think most of the committee meetings are going to be on Zoom or Teams or something like that, so we don't have to come out. I'll probably try and join you, at least at the beginning, on all of the committees and get us going. And I do appreciate committee work. That's how we get our work done. And so, thank you for everybody who has signed up. And again, we are charged, if you get a chance, you'll make sure you read through our bylaws and our ordinance that set up ICPOC. Things we're supposed to do, one of the things we're supposed to do is provide a year-end report. And so even if your committee hasn't done much, because we're starting up late in the year, the year-end report can give a preview of what we're planning to do for the next year, that we have met, that we're meeting, that we're getting things going. So please be looking at that as we get into our committee meetings. I want to talk a little bit, because some of you may be asking, all of us need to know, one of the main things that we do is review police complaints. Now, in the packet that you have, that Ms. Cummings has handed everybody, there's sort of a flow chart summary. And I say summary because Commissioner Hoffman has put together a slide presentation, and he's going to, but unfortunately, he's not able to be here today. And we're going to go through that next week, so next month, so everyone will know in more detail how the complaint process goes. But this flow sheet that's in your packet shows basically what happens when the complaints come in. Is everybody looking at that real quick? So complaints can come in either to ICPOC. Do you have your?
What's in here?
Yeah. Complaints can come into ICPOC, and they would go right to our office. Ms. Cummings will receive them. They can come in by phone or by email, or ever how the citizen wants to file the complaint. We cannot do anything with regard to complaints until the police have already processed it. And so if it comes into ICPOC, we send it directly to the police. If it comes in through the police, then they do their investigation first. Then they investigate and make a determination, and they forward the packet to ICPOC. When we met with the incoming interim chief last week, we were looking at the contract, the new contract for the Command Officers Association, and that was set up the same as the Police Officers Association. There's a 30-day window, and hopefully they can do it in 30 days. It's not in stone, but they're supposed to get their investigation done in 30 days. After that, they pass it on to ICPOC. Our information managers will look at it and start their review, and then whoever is assigned the complaint, once they complete their review, it goes to Commissioner Hoffman, who's the chair of the information managers. He looks it over, and then they report it out to us, and we will approve. In general, I can't see why we wouldn't approve what's been reviewed by the information managers. We approve what they have done, and then we pass that final decision on to the police department, to the city administrator, and to the complainant who is offered an opportunity to come and talk to us. And I think that's a step we hadn't looked at before. Go ahead, Commissioner Green.
Now, this is a complaint from someone who's unhappy with something the police have done.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
all right,
or not done.
right.
You're right, right. Okay, so, again, what
Commissioner
you,
Haynes had a question.
I'm sorry, who's got a hand?
I do.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, go ahead.
So when the complaint comes in and it goes to the police does their investigation, and eventually it comes to us.
Right.
Do we as a commission have the opportunity to ask questions as to why the police have come to a certain conclusion?
Yes,
And can we make recommendations on possibly what we might think is?
absolutely.
Okay, so we don't have to just take that and say, okay, essentially, and pass it on. We have the opportunity to ask some questions and make some decisions if we think that other decisions need to be made. And we have the opportunity to hear from the actual complainant as well.
That's right. We're not just a rubber stamp.
Right.
And what we get, the packet that we get from the police, I don't think that I asked Ms. Cummins to include, what we get from the police department. It'll say what the complaint was, whether there were any specific policies or procedures that were violated, what investigation they did, who they talked to. Normally, there's going to be some body camera footage that they look at, and basically why, what their recommendation is and why. And so we have that information. Now, I have to back up for 1 minute, because the ordinance says we can have up to 5 information managers. The information managers are the ones who can review the body cam footage, look at everything that the police have looked at. Because of reasons of privacy, and this is something we might want to look at later to make recommendations back to council that, hey, we need more than just 5 people. But that's right now what the ordinance says. We can have 5 information managers.
And who are those information?
Commissioner Offman,
Okay.
Commissioner Pipkins, Commissioner Billups, and me.
Okay.
And basically, once I took over the chair, I had stopped reviewing complaints, but I wanted to keep the designation so that if necessary, I could look at one. So we actually have an opening, a place for a 5th information manager if someone would like to do that work. They meet, how often, Ms. Cummings?
Once a month.
Once a month, and that's also
We haven't scheduled the meeting yet because we're still waiting for people to give us their availability, but it will be once a month on Zoom.
on Zoom. So if you have the time, that takes some time to review. The complaints come in, and sometimes there have been hours of footage, to review. If you have a couple of police officers who show up and whatever happens takes a couple hours, there's a lot of the police camera footage that is possible. But if somebody wants to do that, please let me know. Because, we are in a situation now, but the years since we have come into being organized, we've had a lot of work that's been done by the previous chair and the previous commissioners, getting ourselves established. And as a result, we have a backlog of complaints. Yeah, we do. And and some of them have been reviewed, but we haven't yet formally come up with our recommendations. So if there's somebody who wants to help on that. Now, by the way, there's a document that's in your packet also. Okay, all right.
It starts with the letter, then
All right, let's do this formally then, because we need to look at this and adopt it if we want to. So there's 3 documents. One of them says Ann Arbor Independent Community, has our logo at the top, and it's, really, we should start with the September 8th one, right?
that's just a draft. Those are just the
Right.
dates. The dates aren't actually.
Right, but I mean, okay. Let's look at the one at the top, it says October 18th.
Other information. Did you want to move this up on the agenda? This is under the information managers community.
No, because they're not going to be here. So we may as well talk about it now. Okay. So this is the letter that goes out from our office to the complainant. And basically, thank you for filing your complaint. It explains what happens after you file a complaint. And look, I look forward to assisting you. And I'm going to, let's just look at them first. I'm going to give you a minute to read over them. The next one, September 8th, tells the complainant that the complaint review is finished. All right? And it tells them what they can do. They have a right to come and talk to us if need be. And then the third one is a draft of the report that we will be filing for each complaint. And this is the step that we still have a backlog for doing, is getting these final reports done for those complaints that have been reviewed already. All right? So would you take a few minutes, read over them, and let's, before we can actually begin using them, I'd like us all to look at them and formally adopt them.
We have to make a motion to amend the agenda so this can be.
Why?
Because this is another information managers community.
So what?
We have to move it.
Why? What happens if we don't?
Then the agenda doesn't go as
I've been informed that I'm not following procedure, so the agenda says that we're supposed to talk about this under Information Managers Committee report. Okay. But since Commissioner Hoffman is not going to be here for that report, I'm going to move that we move. Something terrible will happen if we don't. We're going to move the review of the attachments up to the chair report.
I second that motion.
Thank you. Any opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, there we go. So now let's take a few minutes and look at these documents. Something's going to happen to me if I mess up. And we'd like to get them approved this evening. Okay. Got to make sure we do that. Did that here too?
No, you did good.
I did good?
That's under your report.
Okay. Okay, you gotta change. I'm seeing you got your
Well, yeah, I do.
circle. Okay.
Just, that's the only one.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
good. What is it? Well, you can tell us, Lala.
Okay, yeah, I'll keep it in suspense. I want to make official, I don't want Kennedy yelling at me too.
Gotta do it.
No, she's marking hers up too, so.
Yes, Councilperson Song.
So I have a question in the response on the complaint process.
Okay.
At what point, and I don't see this on the flow chart either, but at what point will it come under council review? Will complaints come as a batch, as part of the monthly report when you come to council at the beginning of the month? Or is it up to liaisons to kind of update our council colleagues on complaints in process? I'm just trying to figure, like, it won't come up for council vote. I understand that, but I guess what I'm trying to understand is at what point will there be some, will the reports just stay within city administration? Or will it ever come up and bubble up to council outside of the liaisons here?
You know, it's not part of the process that we've outlined, but I'm trying to think back to what the ordinance says. It says does it say we report to council or the mayor?
I don't
I do,
remember.
yeah, we can check and see. Do you think council would want that as part of our report every month?
I think it would be helpful. We've had a series of work sessions this month. We've had a meeting every Monday for this. We've been in these chambers every Monday for the past 5 weeks. And we just had one last night on housing and homelessness. We had another one on the DDA. And that helps us prepare for the budget cycle. So, and then, if we had a number of issues with police complaints, it would help us also, it would also help inform us on what we expect in the interview process for the chief, too. So at some point, maybe this body can kind of consider how you would like to package up your reviews for council, so that it doesn't just stay within city staff and city administration.
I can't see why we can't pass that information on to council. I foresee us coming up with, at the end of each month, how many complaints, and we really don't generally have a lot of complaints every month, maybe 3 or 4, sometimes 6, that kind of thing. I don't know if we will be reporting out the complainant's name, but we have a number that we'll assign, so it becomes public. But I can certainly talk with the information managers about that. But once we get the reports, I don't see a reason why we can't, the same report that we send to the police chief and the city administrator, we can pass on to council. Does that make sense to everybody?
I mean, it's foiable, right?
No.
It's in the public domain. But we should find a process where council can at least put some eyes on it beforehand. I know Councilmember Harrison is very mindful about sharing what we talk about here with the body. But since we haven't really been working on resolutions outside of the secondary traffic ordinance, it might be another way to inform our colleagues about the work that's being done here.
Well, it will certainly be in our yearly report. But I'll bring it up at the next information managers meeting, and we can add that to the process. I don't see why we can't, at the end, we send our notification to the Ann Arbor Police, to the city administrator, and I don't know why we can't add council, but we'll certainly,
Just for reference, one of the issues that came up last night is in our work with the county and the Office of Community and Economic Development and with our housing partners. Some of the data I'd asked for is, in-time counts for our homeless population, and that's done every end of January. And it's called PIC, P-I-C, I can't remember, point in time count. And I said it would be interesting if we could get kind of more regular updates on our homelessness data, just so that we can, if we have to do budget amendments or eviction prevention or rehousing. So I just want to be more responsive, and if the budget isn't responsive to helping people, or, if we're not, we shouldn't have to wait for a year to be responsive in how we work with our police.
Right.
Then tell us what kind of data you want to give to us. And, we don't have to just leave it to Kevin Karpiak to present
Yeah, well-
or have a study about.
we can certainly look at that, and I don't see why we can't make that report as well. And again, see, we're so behind on our reports, and we will catch up, but right now, we don't have these reports going out. So hopefully, I hope I didn't ask everybody to be a speed reader, but if you've had an opportunity to look at the first document, the one that's dated October 18th, it's just a draft, are there any comments, additions, corrections, anything? Council, Commissioner Milgram.
Thank you. Chair Carter. I have 3 questions, I guess, on this document. I don't have any questions on the rest of it. So this, I take it, is sent fairly soon after the complaint is filed. And so it says, thank you for filing. The ICPOC has received your complaint and your response has been recorded. I'm not sure I know what that means. What response and would have been recorded?
So when a complaint is submitted,
Yeah.
it gets recorded into a SharePoint portal. So once it is submitted, it is recorded in the portal. So it's just informing them that we have collected their complaint and it has been.
But it's, I guess what confused me is that it says response. The complaint's been recorded, there's been no response, right? We haven't responded, he or she hasn't responded, so I don't know. Maybe we need to change it. We've received your complaint and it has been recorded.
And it has been recorded?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, otherwise, I'm just not clear what your response is, and if it's just the complaint, I suppose we need to change that. In the next paragraph, your complaint will be reviewed by the police department and commission. The second sentence, if your complaint is about police misconduct, the police department will review the complaint first for possible officer discipline prior. So whether the complaint is about police misconduct, the way I understand the flow chart, it will be reviewed by the police department first regardless. So
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily?
Because I reread the ordinance again, and I think, basically what it says is that if it's about police misconduct, then it goes first to the police. But it might be a complaint about just the way the city is doing things.
Right. But I thought, the way I understood this flow chart, we receive the complaint, we send it to the department first and they have up to 30 days.
Right.
At best case, before we can do anything with the complaint.
Right.
Correct? So I think it's true to say your complaint will be sent to the police first, and not just only if there's misconduct.
No,
think.
you're right with
Okay.
what you're looking at, but I was incorrect with the way the chart is.
Okay.
And I'll take it back and redo it so that it does correspond exactly with what the ordinance says, because a complaint could come into ICPOC, and off the top of my head, I can't think right now about what that complaint would be, but we could get a complaint that's not necessarily about police misconduct. Maybe it's about the way that the city handles policing at the football games. So there's no claim of any misconduct, but they just don't like the way things are done. And that kind of complaint does not have to go first to the police department. We can look at it and make recommendations. So I'll tweak the chart. That's a good catch.
Good.
Thank you.
Well, and my last comment?
Yeah.
If you don't mind?
No,
The last sentence in that paragraph, while the commission cannot guarantee when review of your complaint will be finished, the commission will give you an update within 21 days. Now, it's likely that that update will be, we don't have an update, so we might just want to say 30 days, because we know that the police are likely to have it for about 30 days.
and they just changed that to the 30
Okay.
days. So yes, you're right. This needs to be within, maybe we could say within approximately, because we don't know that we're going to get it back from the police in 30 days. Is that okay with everybody?
It's okay with me?
All right. Any other comments or suggestions about?
I just have one grammatical one, and that is the last paragraph in the second sentence.
In this same sheet?
Yes,
Okay.
the word "be," I think, can be taken out.
The last paragraph.
The last paragraph, the second sentence. City staff liaison is also be happy.
That didn't sound right when you said it, so
Or will
it's also
will-
happy.
Or will also be happy?
Or will,
Will also, it should be
either
will
will
instead of is,
also
yeah.
be happy or is also happy too, one of the two.
Right.
But
Which do you,
Either way
which do
they're-
you want it?
either
We're
way
gonna
they're
make it
happy,
right.
evidently.
Which you're gonna make,
Oh, I see.
will
Yeah,
also,
that B doesn't need to be in there.
no, it doesn't.
Okay.
Is
Will also be
happy
happy.
to-
Or-
is awfully trying
Yeah,
to answer,
just take the
yeah.
B out, that's
Also
Okay.
be ha- Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a misprint.
you wanna take the B out?
So,
That's a
Rather than say,
typo.
we don't know they're gonna be happy, so we'll say,
Are you going to be happy?
we'll be happy.
we'll be,
Is also happy to
we'll
try.
also be happy
Yeah.
to try and answer any questions about the commission and the complaint
Yeah.
process.
Yes, yes. Okay. Anything else on any of these documents? The third one, of course, is as I say, is the report. We, as a commission, are not going to get everything, as I said before, but we will get a report like this. So you should be able, in reading the report, to know, okay, this was a complaint about XYZ, this is what we think, this is our review that we did, and this is how we think it should be handled. We're also, we're supposed to be making recommendations, and just as an example, I don't want to, because I don't know the details, but I know that one case that Commissioner Offman was working on, there was a complaint, and the officer, for some reason, didn't have his body camera on. And it was a time when he didn't necessarily have to have it on. He was out doing something in the community. But the recommendation was, anytime the police officer is out in the community, they ought to have their body camera on, anytime they make contact with the citizen. So that's a recommendation. When that comes before us, then we'll make a formal recommendation based on the information manager's report. And we make that to the police and so forth and so on, and it may require money. I don't know if they don't have enough body cameras for every time somebody goes out to have the camera on. But those are the kinds of recommendations that we can make when we get them back. Anything else about any of these documents? What I'm going to do is get these out to you in the next week or so you can finish looking at them and pick at them and make any changes you want to, and at the next meeting in November, we'll formally adopt the document. So there's one that goes out as soon as the complaint comes in, one that lets the complainant know we've reviewed the complaint, and also the report that the information managers will make back to us. And I'll fix my chart, but you'll have a better chart next time. Okay, anything else about this complaint process? And again, we'll have a much more thorough description of the process when Commissioner Hoffman is back with us next.
You want me to send it to the entire commission for the drafts?
Yeah.
I have one, and I'm looking at the September 8th.
Okay?
Let me turn the page over first before, no, it's not. So on this page, it says, the ICPOC liaisons can also be contacted by phone or mail to try and answer any questions. So I see the mail, I don't see a phone number.
Okay, so we need to add our phone number to this? And our email address, right?
The email is there. Oh, no, it's not.
Okay.
So is the mail referring to the snail mail or email?
We have we have mail here, so they can like formally mail something into the commission.
Okay,
And what I'll do is I'll email the commission with these drafts, and then I'll ask for feedback and comments on the draft, so we can
okay.
gather and make the changes that way too.
Okay, well, I'm going to give you what we did today,
That'd be great.
so you can make those. Okay, very good. Thank you all so much for looking at those documents, and we'll try to get them approved at the November meeting. You also have in your packet, there's a resolution to City Council regarding Ann Arbor traffic transparency. Now, this is there's also, you have the other resolution? There are two resolutions that council approved. One was from us, and one was from the Traffic Commission, Transportation Commission. Okay.
This is last year, right? This is from last year.
Yes, yes, these have already been approved by council, already been passed. And the reason that I wanted you all to have these, as you know, we had our public forum regarding the traffic study, as well as the traffic ordinance last month. And these resolutions have already been approved by council, basically asking the police department to provide information to ICPOC on a regular basis. And what we're looking at is the possibility of asking the same group that did the traffic study, after we collect data again, and it's probably going to take us a couple years to get all the data that we need, and we can see if the new ordinance has made a difference with regard to our traffic stops. We'll be able to compare. So hopefully Dr. Karpiak will agree, but we have to have the data. So I got a call from the chair of the Human Rights Commission last week, and she suggested, and I think it's a real good idea, that we put together a joint committee. Hopefully, we won't be meeting forever. It'll, a couple of meetings to get things going and to see exactly, how we're going to approach the police department and with regard to the information that's requested in these resolutions. So, I believe there are 2 or 3 people from the Human Rights Commission that want to be on this joint committee. I don't know when we're going to meet, we're just putting it together. And so I have indicated that I would like to be on it, and that I would ask at our meeting if there's anyone else who would like to join this joint committee. And I haven't contacted the Transportation Commission yet, but since they also had a resolution, I suspect they might want to join that type of joint committee. So anybody interested at all in putting this together? Well, I tell you what.
Sure.
Good, okay. Commissioner, thank you for continuing to get me to pronounce that right. Eliakim. Thank you. Anybody else?
So what is the Joint Commission going to do now?
Well, we're going to look at these ordinances, we're going to figure out, we're going to contact the police, we're going to figure out as between the two ordinances, what exactly is the information that we want, that we're going to get, how they're going to get it to us, what form they're going to get it to us, who's going to hold on to it, this kind of thing. So it's a matter of really just sort of getting it together. So Commissioner Eliakim and I, and if anybody over the next couple of weeks thinks that that's something you might want to be involved in, please let me know. Okay. Moving on, very quickly, some of us will be going before our next meeting to NACO, to Chicago. If any of you are going, I got an email from the chair of the East Lansing Oversight Commission, and she'd like to meet with us while we're there, maybe for lunch or something. And so I don't know if you all have gone online yet to look at the schedule for NACO, but there'll be a couple of lunches, you know, where it's lunch on your own. And so maybe that would be a good time to get with that group. So if you're going, let me know, send me an email, and let me know. I'm thinking there's a free lunch, I think, on the Monday, but that might be a good time. There's a couple of dinners open. But I think it would be good for us to get together and chat with those folks from East Lansing. And see.
So what are the dates on that?
I'm sorry.
What are the dates on that?
The 2nd of November through that's another, It's the 12th through the 16th.
And
15th.
registration for the.
Registration is closed.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So, okay.
Sorry.
Next year, we all, we
Thinking about doing that.
We need
Next year.
to, it's a good educational experience. Okay, now, I'm almost done. Our next meeting, we have no meeting in December, and I was just wondering if it sounds like a good idea for us to have some kind of a holiday get-together in December, again, to get to know each other a little better, and just to, yes?
Should be fun, yeah.
Okay? Okay? Good. Well, I will, next month sometime, ask Ms. Cummings to kind of contact us and see days, times, and that kind of thing, when we might want to do that. Okay, good. Good. All right. Thank you very much. That is all that I have. Next on the agenda, is there any old business that we need to talk about? We have nothing on the agenda under old business. Any new business? Do any of the committees have a report?
I have a brief report.
All right,
Yeah.
Commissioner Milgram.
Yes, for the Policy Committee, brief update. Chair Carter and I had reviewed some personnel regulations several months ago, some 14 or 19 pages worth, for a particular purpose that I don't know that we need to go into at the moment, but, and then the question came up, there was a summer hiatus, but the question also came up, well, where are the others? Are there others? There's some controversy over how many there were. But as it happens, I'm happy to report that the interim chief, McGuire, all I needed to do was ask him directly, and the very next day, I got in my inbox the companion to the personnel is just like one piece of a very large number. So the good news is that we've received what has been represented to us as all of the current policies, some of which are actually going through a review through their sort of a regulatory body that has been vetting theirs, but that has almost been completed. So each of these policies has the date on which they were last reviewed and approved by this oversight body, not ours, another sort of a national certification among the police departments. So the good news is we have them all. The bad news is there are many, many, many to review. But the best news is that I understand Commissioner Green has agreed join the committee. It's been a committee of one for a long time now. Chair Carter has asked to get involved, but she does so many things. I thought, well, let me get started, so I have. And so, with your permission, I'll email you soon, and I'll send you what there is there, and we can split it up. I'm happy to take, the lion's share, and since I've already gotten started, and if we need
I'll still take
if we need
some.
Chair Carter's help, and if anybody else wants to get involved, that would be great. It's really just a matter of, the ones I've reviewed so far are pretty straightforward and well done. So it's a matter of, if they're, even if they're typos, just to go through it, give some input about them where it's needed, and also to take a look and say, well, maybe if there's this regulation, maybe there should be that regulation. Provide some suggestions potentially, and the interim chief seemed very open to that whole idea. So, so I think so that's about it for now, and I hope to have a little bit more of a substantive update next month after I have gone through, and hopefully Commissioner Green has gone through more of them as well.
Yeah, good, and we really appreciate the work that it takes to go through these policies. And if, this is the kind of thing, once we go through them once, then situations may present themselves where we say, well, maybe this policy needs to be changed, or at least maybe we need to look at this policy. So always, if that comes up in your conversations with citizens or just whatever situation you might encounter, where you say, well, I wonder about this policy. I wonder if there's a policy on this.
Right.
And then our policy committee will be able to help you with that.
Well, in fact, something came up about, there was a question, I think it came up at our last meeting, and I don't know if it was it asked by a member of the public or not, but just the idea of the way that when you're stopped for a traffic violation of any kind, does the officer introduce him or herself and give more, and give other and also, I think, say why you're being stopped, so that it can de-escalate it. In fact, I think Council Member Harrison was talking about that, weren't you? How it can de-escalate. So, and I hadn't seen a policy like that. Of course, I hadn't gone through many of the policies, and I talked to Interim Chief Metzger and then incoming Interim Chief McGuire right afterwards, and they both said to me, we do have that policy. Now, I've been stopped by an Ann Arbor police officer, and I'm not so sure that's the way I'm not so sure that's the way they approach me. I have not seen that policy yet, but I've been told by them that is, in fact, a policy of the department. And if after we do the review, there is no such policy, then we want to make sure that it is, that it will be, yeah.
Yeah, and I think I saw a policy that said something about what an officer should. I think it was in a should rather than a shall.
Or must, yeah.
And I think if we find that policy and we can see, but my husband and I were in Henderson, Nevada, first of the year. And we were driving a relative's car, it's evening, driving down the road. And you see the red lights behind you, you say, oh my goodness, what's going on? What happened? We didn't do anything. We pulled over. The officer gets out of the car, comes around to the window, and he says, hello, my name is Officer so-and-so from the Henderson Police Department. I stopped you because the tag is expired on your license plate. And it just made everything better, And so, and then I think we were discussing for officer safety. I have a friend, it turns out, who is with the police oversight in the city in Florida. They think that it's for the officer's safety. If you approach a car and you've got somebody in there who's an escapee or something, you know, and they were stopped because they were speeding, the officer goes up and this person is automatically going to be, you know, why is he stopping me? You know, let me get ready to shoot. And if the officer said, I stopped you because you were going 5 miles over the speed limit, it de-escalates the whole situation all around. So I think that is one of the policies that we really, and I've had several citizens say to me, why doesn't the officer have to tell me why he stopped? So that's kind of a policy we really want to look at.
We'll be looking for that, yeah.
Yeah, okay, good, thank you. The training committee, I have gotten the names of the officers who handle training. And I don't know, we'll get together and decide how you want to handle it. If you want to sit in on some of the training, exactly what you want to do. But we're looking at training, how are officers trained? Is there in existence, this is one of the things I think that NACO helps us with, is there training out there that we don't know about, that we're not using? Perhaps training on de-escalation, training on various things that we don't have yet. And then we're also looking at training for us. What do we need, do you think, to be trained as oversight professionals? Okay, so we'll be, if there's anything else from the committee, that's good. Otherwise, we'll be meeting, I think their meeting is coming up. Yeah?
The training committee? Yeah.
Training committee. We've already got a meeting set, good.
We do.
Yeah.
It's the first Monday.
Oh, the first Monday, that's right.
That's all right, Ms. Cummings is good about reminding us.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And then the outreach committee, we'll just have to get together and see what we're going to do.
Who's outreach? Are you outreach? Okay, me too.
Yeah, good,
Yep.
thank you.
I was planning to stop at that.
Do they have a meeting scheduled?
Nope.
Okay, gotta get that set up.
Okay, good.
Okay, information managers are not here today, but will be, again, their presentation will be next, in the November meeting. Okay, do we have an update from City Council?
Do you want me to?
Go ahead.
The past couple of city council meetings have been largely focused on approving contracts, it's just infrastructure contracts, approving doing reviews, performance reviews for our city attorney, for our city administrator, approving a raise for our city attorney. Our city administrator has a pause on his salary increase because part of, he requested that only be considered after 2 years with the city as a challenge to himself. And I thought that was really admirable for him to come into the city. And I mean, we reviewed his work and it's excellent. We're really thankful and lucky to have someone of Administrator Dohoney's caliber here. So I just want to clarify that there was no salary increase for him, not because of performance. It was because he put a self-imposed challenge, 2-year challenge for himself. As I said before, we've had a number of work sessions. Actually, Councilmember Harrison had a really good question last night at our homelessness and housing work session on the impact of how we've used our marijuana excise tax revenue and in a support team. Actually, no, it's different from the support team that we have. So I don't know if you want to dive into that, but otherwise, it's this chief process that we need to look back to. But Cynthia, I don't know if you want to talk about how Housing Commission has talked about the impact of that funding that you had. This is something that Cynthia had spearheaded last year, or earlier this year.
Yeah, I don't, they haven't really talked too much about the impact just yet. It's called the, I'm drawing a blank on what it's called. I just referred to it yesterday, and the program itself. It is a program that helps to provide trauma-informed case management to folks that have been impacted by the criminal legal system, and also those that are either have a voucher or on getting one soon. So basically providing support to individuals that are living throughout the community, but outside of an Avalon housing, supportive housing structure. So they spoke yesterday about, they spoke a little bit about the need for, that type of case management, and, we'll be keeping an eye out on the impact of that, the appropriation that we made during the budget cycle, which, like Councilmember Song said, was marijuana excise tax money that was, in terms of folks that have been impacted by the criminal legal system. I thought, we thought it was appropriate to use those funds to folks that have been impacted by the war on drugs. So that was one of the things that came up last night.
We also talked about how one of the amendments to Councilmember Harrison's program was to actually restrict that to residents in the city of Ann Arbor. And maybe this is something that it'll come up for discussion in the next budget cycle, because I think many of us are pretty clear in understanding that we can care for our neighbors and that some policies that we've put in place have pushed folks outside of the city of Ann Arbor. So perhaps we can reconsider whether that's a restriction we want in the next phase of the marijuana excise tax revenue, of restricting that money only to be used for Ann Arbor residents.
It's called Rising Hope, and so the issue is that it's not restricted to folks that live within the city of Ann Arbor, and the reason is because our housing commission, when folks get a voucher from our housing commission, they get a housing choice voucher. Most of them can't find affordable housing in the city of Ann Arbor, so they are forced to use the voucher outside of the city of Ann Arbor, but they are allowed to use it anywhere within the county and also Monroe County. So that is why a large percentage of our tenant-based vouchers end up going outside of the city of Ann Arbor. So
last time we met, I had brought up the policing improvement bill packages that Senator Stephanie Chang has been unsuccessful in introducing into committee, and that included. It includes work on no-knock warrants, duty to intervene, use of force, and it's kind of unfortunate, even though Democrats have the majority, that this package hasn't been moved. Safe Drive, which is, I think I'd sent it to Kennedy, and I don't know if did I send it? Did I not send it? Okay. Which is legislation that's in committee for driver's licenses to be available to undocumented folks. This was from 1995, I think, until 2007, was available to DACA folks, undocumented folks, to be able to have a Michigan state driver's license, which the idea is that it would be safer for everyone, for everyone to have access to better training, insurance. But a Republican Attorney General, Michael Cox, overturned that in 2007. So between 2007 and now, it's been really difficult for groups like folks who are working on our farms in the hotel industry to access driver's license. So even though here in Washington County, we have our county ID program, statewide, this is something that folks have been really trying to push for. And the Michigan Human Rights Commission just today put out a statement, again, trying to encourage our legislature in the Senate and the House to push this forward to actually get a hearing on it. It's just been sitting in committee. So if you're interested, we only have a couple of weeks left before we lose our majority. We have some House Democrats who are running for mayors for their, for their cities. You just get paid more as mayor. And it's just unfortunate this as an advance, and I think it's an issue that would be close to this commission because it also puts folks vulnerable to policing if you don't have a driver's license. So if it's of interest, I encourage folks to reach out to your state reps. And fortunately, in Washington County, our state reps have been very good about trying to push this forward. But they still like to hear from constituents and a body like ours to say that this is something that we'd like to see advanced to actually a hearing and eventually a vote. It should be bipartisan.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. You know, with regard to the cost of housing in the city, at council meeting, I guess the first of the month, there was a woman from a land bank, and I will try to keep you all informed when I figure out somebody out there that we might be interested in helping to support. The idea, and I had never heard, I'm not sure what a land bank is, but I gave her my card. Oh, and by the way, new commissioners, you need to get cards made. So you can hand them out to people. We have business cards. So make sure you get with, is that it? Okay. Make sure you get with Ms. Cummings and make sure that she orders your business cards, so you'll have those. But I gave her my card and asked her to keep us informed. Our police don't live in the city. Right. This is bothersome to me on a lot of different levels, but hopefully we can work with folks who are interested in affordable housing in the city.
Yeah, I can give you a quick update on that. I'm on the Housing Human Services Advisory Board Commission, and that's the city-county body. And we work on everything from making sure that HUD grants are put out and then accepted, approved, has public hearings on it. We also talk a lot about rezoning. So one of the things that council has been working on for quite some time is rezoning along our transportation corridors. So we've already rezoned some areas so that we could encourage more dense development where there's access to IIITA buses specifically. So we've already rezoned a couple areas, State and Eisenhower by the mall, Jackson, Maple area. And basically, we're just saying that we would like future projects, so not current not current buildings. Current buildings are what they are now. But should owners of these parcels consider changing them, we need to encourage them to build higher, to include housing, so it's just not just one use. Perhaps, we've got officers, nurses, teachers who would love to, if they want to live above a bank or a Taco Bell, they can live above a bank or Taco Bell. And it's accessible by bus. The next up for rezoning, it's the Plymouth Road corridor and the Washtenaw Road corridor. And we do talk about this being really trying to stay ahead of what the university is doing. So the university actually also approached the city and local government and said, here's our ambition and here are our plans for the next 10 years and up to 2050. And includes ideas such as a monorail connecting all the campuses, going through Central Campus, the hospital, and then up to North Campus. I think it's an $800 million project by 2050. But also includes potential workforce and family housing along the Plymouth Road corridor on all their parcels next to the research center, as well as a hotel conference center across from where Songbird Cafe is up on Plymouth Road. So some interesting ideas. We just want to be able to make sure that the folks who work for the university have a place to, so they're not forced to commute in from surrounding communities.
Right.
We want a place so that it's more affordable along these corridors. We have a lot of nurses who have to park and ride pretty far out to come into work. And then now that the hospital's building a third tower, I think they were looking at 8,000 nurses working on the medical campus. That's a pretty I would love to welcome a fraction of them to Ann Arbor taxes. And Ann Arbor, just coming closer to the city, get more cars off the road. We have 80,000 daily, actually, no, last night it was updated to 90,000 daily commuters, right? We're a city of 100, almost 120,000. So that's basically like having a football game every single day, every morning and every afternoon, right? So we need to be able to take a portion of the folks off the roads so that, you know, if they live closer, they contribute to our tax rolls, to our city services, instead of contributing to the townships. So we're trying. It'll probably, I mean, you won't see buildings probably till another 5 or 10 years, just like our public parcels, where we have 11 public parcels where we can actually afford to, where we can actually commit to affordable housing units, versus on the private market, it's hard to really incentivize folks to develop affordable housing units. But even then, like the East Catherine project, which is really, really interesting. That's a 5-story building with, and recognizing Black history, Black influence in the Carytown area. Jennifer Hall, our housing commissioner, has had to cobble together 12 sources of funding for that. It's really difficult. So right now we're at like $400,000 a unit. The costs are high, labor's high, supply costs are really high. So you probably won't see anything for maybe another 3 years.
Yeah, you know, I saw the statistic, I couldn't believe that the average house in Ann Arbor is over $600,000 average.
Yeah, our average
So,
median
it's
income, I
crazy.
think, is $130K for a 4-person household.
Yeah. So, yeah, so we do have an interest in trying to get affordable housing and keep some affordable housing in the city of Ann Arbor. Also, with regard to trying to get to recruit from within the city of Ann Arbor, I have met with one of the public school board members. You know, they didn't want police at all in the schools. Now, I can understand the resource officers. You know, they don't want the resource officers in the schools. But it's my understanding that, like, even when they have career day, they don't want police to come. But I think that there's an interest, you know, with some of our students who want to be police officers. And as I understand it, the department has funds to send cadets through the academy, which can be expensive. So, you know, I'd like us to maybe try. Right now, I'm told it's not a good time to deal with anybody with the schools. They have problems, you know, with the new superintendent, finding a superintendent, so forth and so on. But if anybody, you know, has anybody that they know on the school board, you know, I think it'll be a good idea for us to at least be a presence, not a force, but a presence with our schools to try and grow our own. Okay, thank you, our council liaisons, for that update. In terms of communications, do you have anything at all, Ms. Cummings? Okay.
After the meeting, I will need to see all the new commissioners, and I will need to see the outreach committee, well, you're the only one with the information managers, and the policy committee and the training committee. So please stay,
Ms. Cummings need to see everybody.
everybody.
Okay. We did get a communication from Commissioner Pipkin. She's not here. She's had a death in the family. And so we certainly send our condolences to her and her family and wish her, I think she went out of town, so wish her safe travels. Are there anything else that anyone has?
I just want to say a couple of really quick things. One is just that, what a terrific meeting I thought we had last month, you know, with the public forum, along with the public forum, and it was just so much energy in the room to have 25 or so, I think, community members, very engaged. We had a terrific discussion, and I just hope we'll do that more often. We could think about opportunities to have, to combine a public forum with our meetings and get more involved with the public. So that's number one. Number two, I guess I just wanted to mention, I don't know if Commissioner Billups isn't here tonight because tonight's the night he's being honored. I forget exactly, he's being honored for something, and I just wanted to mention that. I think he's been honored many times, but for his terrific work in the community. So just wanted to give a little tip of the hat to Commissioner Billups. And then I guess I also just want to say real quickly, I'm thrilled with our commission here. You know, we almost have a full house tonight, and the new folks here, I think, are going to bring a lot of new energy and different complementary skills. So I wanted to welcome you all, and looking forward to working with all of you.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Green?
Madam Chair, how often do we meet with the public like that? I was not able to attend that meeting, and I very regret that I was not able to, but that kind of involvement with the community has got to be positive.
Yeah.
When is the next meeting like that planned?
Well, we don't have another one planned. That one was planned specifically because of the report and the new ordinance. But and it was on a Wednesday, which I think might have been more problematic for some people.
Well, for
But
me
we put it,
was.
but we put it on a Wednesday because that was the only day we could have that venue. They couldn't do it on Tuesday. He's got students that come in there. So that's why that one was on a Wednesday. But I'm hoping that the outreach committee, one of the things you can do is think about how can we either fill this chamber or have it someplace else. I personally think maybe the community was more relaxed at a different location. But so maybe we can, anytime we can do something like that, if it's around a specific issue or, whatever. I think it was good as well. I enjoyed it. So, yeah, that's something our outreach committee can really think about. And we commend Commissioner Billups. I don't know what he got honored for this time, but he does do so much good work.
Yeah, I should have read it more closely, but I don't, and I don't think that tonight is necessarily the night, but he's being honored for something soon, and I'm sure it's for a good reason.
Okay, very good. Anything else? Yes.
There are two community opportunities. I think, Commissioner, you're just speaking about Commissioner Billups being honored at My Brother's Keeper's Dinner. That's on November 5th.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and then, which is also the same night as the NAACP dinner. So
Tonight?
November 5th.
Oh,
Both events are the same night, but the NAACP dinner starts an hour before. So you can technically make both if you're really good at driving. But good choices, and a good way to be in community if you're interested.
Okay. Very good. If there's nothing else, can we have a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
Is there a second?
Yeah, second.
Any objections? All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes. Do you need to see me?